And now for our last step in the creation of our model. We're going to offset the outside line that we have here, and we're going to create a pathway for our plants. And then we're going to insert our plant block, and then we're just going to array it along the path. So change our layer to footing, and we're going to draw a polyline. Type in PL, press enter, and we're essentially just going to trace over the outline of our building. So start here, and then just snap to endpoints to our outside dimensions of our building. Another thing we could do is to just offset this outside line, but it's not a polyline right now. And then we would have to do a lot of joining and trimming. And so I feel that this is probably a more simpler solution. Now, once you come up to this last end here, type in CL for close, and that will create a closed polyline. Now, our foundation only needs to come a few feet away from our building. So we're going to offset 2 feet, enter, select this line, and move it to the outside, press enter. Now, we don't need this line in here. Select it, right click, and erase. So there's our building, and we have the outside line of a footing. We need that outside line because we don't want to plant over the top of it. So now that we have that, we need to create a pathway for our plants. So we need to be a couple of feet away from it. But before we start, let's switch to our plant layer. It's right there and it's red. And let's insert our plant block that we created. Use the insert command, find the plant, click OK. We see our plant here is quite large. So we want to make sure that we're missing where that's going to be at. And that looks like it's going to be pretty good right there. Now we're going to offset. And this time, instead of typing in a distance, since we don't know what that distance is, we're going to offset through. So type in the letter T, press enter, select this line, and then drag it to here, and type in CEN for center, and select the center of that line. So this line that we just offset is going to be our array path. Now I want to center this plant, so I'm using the move command. For my base point, typing in center, CEN, we're going to grab the center of this plant. Now type in MID for mid. I want to put it right in the middle of this line here so that we know that this plant, the very first plant, is starting right in the middle of the building. So now we need to use the pathway array command. Select that command, start it, pick our plant, press return, pick our polyline here, and we get something really crazy. Now this happens sometimes with path away and closed polylines. Now it should work, but it happens so that it just gets caught in this loop that never ends and it doesn't know what to do with it. So if that happens, undo, and here's a little trick. Use the trim command, select the block, press return, and pick that line. We're going to break it. That's all we did. We just broke it. So now that closed polyline is no longer closed, but it has a start and a stop point. So that now AutoCAD can handle this. And that's okay. It's going to get us close enough to what we need. So start the path array command again. Select your plant, press enter, select your pathway, and that's much better. Okay, let's say that's too many plants though. I don't like having that number of items. So we need to switch that from measure to divide. And now we can control how many items there are. Let's say 15. One of the things that it's doing is that it's putting one of these objects right at the very end, and it's kind of overlapping it. So that may be a problem you'll run into, but that's okay. We can deal with this. And this looks pretty good. It's very symmetrical. So I'm going to close array. Now I'm going to explode the array so that each one of these are individual items. I'm going to come here to this bottom plant, right click, and erase. Now select the polyline, right click, and erase. Zoom extents, and here we go. So we have our building, we have our exterior walls, our doors, our windows, we've hatched the walls to better see them. We have our interior walls, a set of chairs, our foundation, and then plants that go all the way around. Now all what we have left to do is to annotate and create our drawings. Our model is finished.